How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Bengals Ravens. Been an interesting series to say the least. Ravens have won the last 5 against the Bengals. Prior to that, Bengals won 9 out of 11. It's been very one-sided between these two teams. The big difference in that little gap, if you will, we've seen Zach Taylor take over, who has not beaten the Baltimore Ravens since becoming coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, losing the last 4 games against them. In the last 3 games against the Ravens, it ain't been pretty. Bengals have lost by 24 plus points in each of those games. Things are going to have to change if Cincinnati wants to be a legitimate playoff contender and a legitimate contender at the AFC North Division. Nonetheless, how's that going to turn out this week? I think this is going to be a game of we're going to call it a classic AFC North game. A good old game in the trenches. Which defense is going to reign superior here? Both defenses have done a very exceptional job at stopping the opposing team's run games this season. Baltimore currently ranked 4th in the league. Bengals just came off a game against the Detroit Lions, allowed 2 yards per carry against the Detroit Lions. Yeah, it's the Lions, but hey, Lions have actually ran the ball pretty well this season. He just are forced to throw the football and happen to lose football game. It ain't no secret. Baltimore wants to run this football. Baltimore will find a way to run this football. Bengals have struggled. If there was one little weakness we've seen there, they were struggling against Trevor Lawrence in the RPO there against Jacksonville. I would imagine we're going to see some of that come out of Baltimore this week. You got the three-headed monster, if you will, back there in that backfield. You got Lamar running the ball. They're getting Freeman involved. They got Hector even trying to get Le'Veon Bell and his 2 yards per carry involved. You love to see it, I guess. They got a lot of ways they can look at you back there. It's a scary backfield. And it's exactly what's worked for Baltimore here in these past couple of seasons now. Bengals got to find a way to slow it down. This is a Bengals defense that is completely different than what it looked like last season. A much more formidable defense, proving they can play. Again, last week, holding Detroit to 11 points. Held them to 3 until that garbage time touchdown came in there. Baltimore, though, you want to talk about defenses, injuries galore to start this season. You wondered how they played throughout this season, and they've kept, again, teams in games. But you go in there, Baltimore, Chargers, you thought this is going to be a good game. This is going to be a good one. And the Baltimore Ravens defense completely baffles Justin Herbert and company and just beats up on those Chargers. We have seen that with the Baltimore Ravens defense with the Bengals last year, and Joe Burrow and these Bengals were just didn't know what to do. They do an excellent job of mixing things up on that defense, disguising plays, confusing the quarterback, and getting pressure on the quarterback, which is what killed the Bengals last season, getting pressure on the quarterback, and you really just seen the Bengals fold at the end of the season, or end of the game. Literally, but for Joe Burrow's life. You know, you don't see that too often in the NFL where you pull your quarterback because you're fearing for the guy's health, and that happened against the Baltimore Ravens this season. Expect the Baltimore Ravens to get pressure again today. Bengals offensive line has to prove that they can protect the quarterback, because I think ultimately they're going to have to throw this football if they want to win this football game. But we go back to the game on the ground. The Bengals have been trying to establish the run game this season once again. It's starting to work, though. They've had a very good success in this heavy set formation, holding out one wide receiver out wide and, you know, throwing into mixing up the play actions and so forth. The thing is, I think it's going to play more into Baltimore's favor running that particular formation this week, because if you want to beat the Ravens, I think you beat them through the air. I think the Bengals have the weapons to beat the Ravens through the air, especially, again, you consider the injuries. You throw Humphrey out there on one of the Bengals wideouts out wide. I think he's going to have moderate success. He's not going to clamp Jamar Chase down, but he's going to do a good job of, containing him, if you will. And that might be all you need. If the Bengals try to play this run-heavy game, they start off slow. That's my concern if you're the Bengals. They play this run-heavy game, run, pass. It doesn't work. It's been very unsuccessful for them this season. They start off slow. They started off slow against Detroit. They started off slow against Green Bay. They started off slow against Chicago, I should say. You can't do that to the Baltimore Ravens. You start off slow against the Ravens, and plays in their favor when they know you're going to pass that football, and Joe Burrow is going to go under a lot, or be under a lot of duress in this football game. Which is the exact reason why I think if Bengals want to win this football game, either Zach Taylor's going to prove he can game plan against the Baltimore Ravens and change things up, or they have got to establish the run game early, because that's what he's going to try to do. If they can't do it early, I don't know how this Bengals defense holds up against Baltimore. I hope it does well. Bengals defense has surprised teams so far this season. Lamar Jackson's a different animal back there. Mark Andrews different animal back there. We've seen the Bengals give up 87 yards to TJ Hawkinson last week. You best believe Mark Andrews is going to be a big target for this Ravens offense once again this season when they aren't passing the football. Ultimately, I think this game heavily favors the Ravens. It's going to take some Bengals changes, if you will, to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Ultimately, I think it takes the Bengals opting to go to a little bit of a hurry-up offense, opting to give Joe Burrow control of this offense, opting to go 3 wideouts, bring it back in the backfield to help protect Burrow, and they need to run that hurry-up to try to wear down that Baltimore Ravens pass rush, because that might be the best bet the Bengals have here this week against the Ravens. I don't know if they're going to be able to be too successful on the ground against the run, and you don't want to have a 3rd and long against the Baltimore Ravens. It's going to be ugly. You allow Joe Burrow to run this team up and down the field quickly, make the Baltimore Ravens keep those same defensive linemen in throughout the drive, and wear them down throughout this football game. Throw some runs in there. Again, we've seen the way Joe Mixon's ran this football this year. He's got the ability to wear defenses down as well, but you have to be able to move the football in the first place to accomplish that. That's the key here for the Bengals, not going 3 and out, being able to go up tempo, being able to move the football down the field. Quite frankly, I don't know if we see that. Zach Taylor has not proven he can beat the Baltimore Ravens. He has not proven he can compete with the Baltimore Ravens. Ultimately, this is the actual where are you game for the Bengals, because guess what? You know what? Yeah, they played Green Bay. They competed. They very well could have and should have won that football game. Green Bay could say the same thing with their missed field goals there. But the Green Bay Packers don't have the defense the Ravens do. They don't have the pass rush the Ravens do. The problem the Bengals struggled with last season was when Joe Burrow could not be protected. They seem to cripple offensively. And we have to see if they can stand strong this week against the Baltimore Ravens if they want to be a team that's a legitimate contender. I do think both teams are coming in playing their best ball. Baltimore, though, tough place to play. Or Chicago. I was going to call them San Diego, too. I like San Diego better. Whatever they are now, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, team with the bolt on their helmet. Figured out last week. Playing in Baltimore, tough place to play. Bengals going to have a hard time again this week. Even if you wanted to run a no-huddle offense, you got to talk about that communication. Baltimore is a loud place to play. I'm saying Ravens, 27. Bengals, go 17. Love you guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.